What is up, guys? It's Carly here, bringing you day number 3 of my 31 Days of Horror 2025, and today I'm going to be talking about another one actually from the year 1943. I believe that's the year that the previous film I did came out in as well, so kind of a weird coincidence, but this one is on a different multi-pack here that I believe I bought at Dollar Tree, and yeah, this one comes with Lady Frankenstein, Silent Night, Bloody Night, the Satanic Rites of Dracula, The Terror, and Dead Men Walk. So Dead Men Walk is actually the one that I'm going to be talking about down here, which this little cover here, I mean, obviously, I'm assuming this movie's like public domain or something, and it's one of those ones you could put out with any cover, and this is not even the actual movie, it's just a what do you call it? Multi-pack. But anyway, yeah, that's awful right there. That looks like a modern day cover to me, and it's not at all, like, related to the movie, really. I mean, kind of looks like, I don't know, it looks more like a zombie, and that's not really what this movie is. But anyway, Dead Men Walk. This film is essentially about, you have, it starts out with a funeral for, this gentleman, and you see that he has a twin brother who is it's a dual role. It's not actual twins playing the characters, it's the same guy playing both roles, but so one of them has passed away, and the other brother apparently killed him, but he says it was in self-defense and all that, and the brother who died was involved with some sketchy shit to do with like vampires and Satan and things like that, so he was kind of like the evil twin brother. So anyway, you go from the funeral, you also have this guy's, I believe, daughter or niece or some, let's see, what does it say? I should know this. Either way, there's a young couple, there's a girl, it's either the living twins' daughter or niece, I can't remember, but she is wanting to marry this guy and stuff, and so you have those two characters are both in the house of this dude, and then one thing leads to another, and the dead brother gets brought back to life, and he is basically seeking revenge on his brother for what happened, and he now has like these powers of sorts where he's essentially a vampire, and he starts trying to basically get to the young girl and kind of get inside her head and all that fun stuff, and then they're trying to figure out what's wrong with her because she's becoming sick and weak, and there's no real logical explanation, and it kind of whittles down to it must be this evil twin brother. I think I saw him lurking around again, and I know it's crazy, but yeah. Yeah, so anyway, this movie, I thought it was okay. I did have to watch it twice. The first time I did kind of zone out a little bit, so I was like, I better give it a second go just so I kind of know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it kind of was a little underwhelming for me. It was very much just a lower budget ripoff of Dracula. That really is. It took a lot from that right down to, like there's like an evil hunchback henchman type of guy in this film. This movie also has Dwight Fry in it, so yeah. I think he plays that character, so yeah. Very much just was like, yeah, we'll just mark it off of Dracula back then, which is, it's funny to me, nowadays people always like to rag on films and say like, oh, there's no originality anymore, and they've run out of ideas, they keep ripping each other off or remaking movies, and it's like, that's literally been happening since the beginning of film. Like, people at the start of film would just kind of bank off of ideas they already saw. There was some originality, but a lot of it was like these basic monster films or Dracula films or the old Dark House films. There's a lot of movies that just use the same exact formula, and some of them are the exact same plot. I mean, you can even argue that with slasher movies in the 80s and such. So yeah, it's just funny, people like to act like modern day stuff is always the worst, but this has been happening since the 1920s. So, yeah. But yeah, of course, this is 1943. Anyway, my point still stands. I thought the movie was just okay. I was a little bored. It was hard for me to really get into this one. It was also, like I said, definitely lower budget and lower quality. Kind of hard to see at times. Just, the film is... It's hard to judge these older movies, because they're so old. It's like stuff could have been damaged along the way. Who knows how this movie was made to begin with or what it was shot on. But yeah, it did have decent atmosphere at times. There are like a few cemetery scenes outside. I just love outside shots in old black and white films. I just think they come off as so much creepier just being, not only is it dark out and maybe raining, but you also have it in black and white, so it's extra dark. So I always like that in these films. What else? Yeah, I mean, if you like Dracula and you like movies like Dracula, you'll probably get some entertainment value out of this or appreciation for it. I think the guy who plays the dual roles as the twins does a pretty good job of playing two different characters but being the same person. And yeah, there's a scenes where the girl is sick and stuff in bed and she gets like a blood transfusion, which that always kind of wigs me out because I'm not a big fan of blood, needles, all that type of stuff. So I was like, oh, that kind of, even watching it from way back then, it kind of freaks me out. And at the same time, though, her laying in bed, like, something about, like, watching an old movie and if the person's, like, all sick and tired in bed and stuff and relaxed, it makes me want to fall asleep. I don't know. It just seems like these, especially in black and white films, that just kind of has that effect on me. But anyway, yeah. It's not great. I think, I would say, like I said, if you like Dracula, maybe it's worth checking out. If you just if you're interested in the history of old vampire films and want to see what kind of spawned from Dracula, then go ahead. But I would also just say maybe just watch Dracula if you're looking for, a film of that nature. And I'm actually a pretty big fan of the original Dracula, which is kind of ironic because everyone says it's boring. It's like obviously the first Universal monster film, and it just kind of dragged on a little bit to a lot of people. It's very quiet and just it's a basic story really, but I've always liked it because I've always thought it has had the creepiest atmosphere. But anyway, going off on a tangent, I would just give this probably a 5 out of 10. Pretty average stuff, but not horrible. Not the worst thing I've ever seen. So, Dead Men Walk, which is also a weird title. I was assuming this would be a zombie movie, and like I said, the cover on the back doesn't really... I mean, you could say that's a vampire movie. It's like a dude licking blood, but it looks like a dead... Yeah. Either way, it makes it come off like it's going to be a zombie film. So, anyway, yeah. That's that for day number 3 here, guys. Not sure what day number 4 shall bring. Literally, I have to look and back at my, I kind of got my collection out of order again, so I gotta see what comes next, but that'll be a surprise for all of us. So yeah, stick around and I'll see you for day number 4.